Okay, so we're looking at IELTS Task 2 essay, and the pattern is discuss both views and give your opinion. Okay, so it'll be introduction, some people think A, some people think B, and then the conclusion. In the conclusion, you should definitely have your opinion. Okay, it's best to also give your opinion in the introduction as well. Okay, and make sure you address both sides. So let's look at the topic. Nowadays, people are affected by social media and the internet. Is it a good or a bad trend in your opinion? Explain it by giving your own examples. Okay, this is something a lot of people forget to do. Sometimes my students forget to do it. If the question asks you to give examples, you need to give examples. Otherwise, you're not fully answering the question and it's going to affect your task achievement. You can make up examples. They don't have to be real. The examiner just wants to see your English skills. Okay, so let's take a look at what this candidate has done. So you've got the introduction here. It is often argued that social media has beneficial impacts on daily lives. Has a beneficial impact on daily lives, on people's daily lives, whilst others think that overuse of social media and the internet has been detrimental to one's life. I would say can be. On the internet can be detrimental to your life. I agree that social media and the internet have taken a toll on people's lifestyles due to some relying on them too much. This essay will discuss both points of view. Okay, as an introduction, I think this is pretty good. They address the background of the issue. They give both opinions. They give their own opinion. Okay, and they've got the grammar is okay. There's a couple of issues here, not major issues. Here, the biggest issue is due to some of them, I feel is a little bit too vague. So I would just cut that out. And then I think overall this is a pretty good introduction. Okay, those who agree with the former perspective feel that social media and the internet provide people with a tremendous amount of information. Tremendous amount of information, nice vocabulary. Improvements in technology lead to a convenient lifestyle. People are able to access the internet to search for a myriad of information without the restriction of place. Okay, myriad of information is nice. Restriction of place, to be honest, sounds a little bit odd, but I wouldn't necessarily change it. It's just the phrasing is not something that's totally natural. So the more natural way to say it would probably be search for myriad of information wherever and whenever. Or regardless of their location would be the more formal way to put it. This is more informal, this one's more formal. For instance, if someone wants to access and subscribe to certain sports news, related social media will provide the latest news and information instantaneously. Again, instantaneously, nice vocabulary. This is a perfect example of how people's lifestyles have improved through the social media system. Through, I wouldn't say social media system, or through the invention of social media. Okay, or something like that. Okay, so overall, this is a pretty great body. They've given me an example. Okay, they've explained their point of view, and they've used some really nice vocabulary, and their grammar is pretty solid. Okay, so overall, I think this is looking good. Okay, however, many disagree and argue that people can become addicted to social media. Sorry, that should be addict. You know what I mean, right? It should be ed. Can become addicted to social media and the internet easily. The internet has revolutionized modern society. Again, a really nice phrase, good vocabulary. However, it has also caused new problems. Reliance on social media and the internet has accelerated dramatically, and it is detrimental to people's lifestyle. And so we've used this phrase a couple of times already. So here I would be more specific to get away from reusing this phrase a bit more. And it is detrimental maybe to people's mental health. Or you could say overall well-being. So your well-being being like your condition, your sort of physical health, your mental health. So I would just be a bit more specific to change this up a little bit. In addition, this phenomenon has a negative impact on people's relationships and socialism. I wouldn't say in addition here, because you're continuing, you're not adding something new. You've done the start of it saying that it's been really detrimental to the way people live their lives. And so this linking shouldn't be adding, this should be, following on, or sort of continuing, okay? So I would just actually probably get rid of that and just say this phenomenon has negative impact on people's relationships and socialism and social skills or social life. Socialism means like communism. It's like a political ideology. It was recently reported in The Guardian that 60% of those who are already addicted to social media did not feel about real life friends and people who are already addicted to social media who were, so this should be matching, right? Who were already addicted to social media, did not feel about real life, did not feel what? Did not feel, maybe we want to say connected to real life friends and people, or did not feel close to real life friends and people. And I would just say real life friends, okay? Or maybe real life friends and family. They had already engaged with many virtual friends and colleagues online. This excessive use of social media could lead to a catastrophic situation. Okay, so this catastrophic situation, I feel like you've not really justified this. You've explained that people have a lot of friends online, and this is a bad thing, but you've not told me why is this a bad thing? Why is it bad that my friends are online? Am I not getting the same kind of social skills through online interaction? Okay, so that's what needs to be explained. You need to show me the cause and effect link between having too many friends online is bad for you because, okay, so that needs to be added here. So I would probably add that sentence around here. Because they say they had already engaged with many virtual friends and colleagues online, which means that they're not gaining the same face-to-face social interaction skills or becoming more depressed because they don't feel as close to people anymore. Something. Okay, so that needs to be addressed here. So the why part. Okay. In conclusion, some say the emergence of social media and the internet is a breakthrough due to their offering a large amount of information, whereas others argue that overuse of social media could not only lead to serious addiction, but also have an effect on one's mentality. So mentality to me feels too vague, so I would just say mental health. I assert that, or you could say one's mindset, also a little bit vague. So yeah, I think mental health is the best way. I assert that social media could deteriorate one's lifestyle because its contents are provocative and people might lose their actual real life. So this side, its contents are provocative. You didn't address that in the essay. So don't bring new things into your conclusion. You've not talked about the images or the provocative content or, this idea that maybe on social media it's giving you images that are bad for you, like, too many influencers and giving you a bad body image and things like that. And people might lose their actual real life. This is kind of vague. Do you mean like really lose it, like die? Or do you mean like lose it in the sense that they lose connection with real people in their lives? Okay. So I don't know if you're giving me a metaphor or not. Okay. Are you being factual or are you being, So that's a little bit vague. So I think overall as a conclusion, it's pretty good because this candidate does summarize both points of view and repeats their thesis statement. Okay. But they have included some new ideas that they've not fully expressed in their essay. And they have some vague language. So if I was gonna grade this, I think in terms of grammar, it was actually pretty strong. I think this person had some good grammar. There was slips and they didn't quite have control of their tenses. So one thing I would advise them to look at is tense. And I also tell them to go back and look at pluralizations. Okay, they've not quite got those down. So I would probably say a solid 6 for grammar, which is a good grammar score because the grammar can be quite finicky. Vocabulary, I thought they had really great vocabulary. They had some nice phrases. A couple of times, awkward phrasing or phrases that didn't quite fit. But overall, I want to give a 6.5 for vocabulary. Cohesion and coherence, it was very logical. It was linked together nicely. There was that one issue of that one linking word. But I want to give it a 6.5. Task achievement was overall good. Good introduction. Nice conclusion. They addressed the parts of the task. They gave an example. I liked how they used the example of the Guardian newspaper. Like I said, there were 1 or 2 places where they didn't fully explain and they didn't fully support what they were doing. Okay, so I would give this as a 6. And to be honest, this is the one that I would say can be improved the most. just by making sure that you're logically linking everything together and you're fully explaining things. So I would say if they just improved that conclusion a little bit and they'd given more in their body too, more explanation, then I think that the task achievement could easily have been a 6.5 or a 7 for sure. Okay, so I think overall coming out at a 6.0, but overall very good essay, and this candidate should be very pleased with how they wrote it, because their grammar and vocabulary particularly I thought was quite impressive, and just once they can fix these minor issues, their score will improve a lot.